No, you can't do that with the hoodie. It's not.
When we're on.
We've been on.
What?
We're on, of course we're on.
You should give to the 2% or the 1% or any percent. It's raining. Please give now.
This is going to take a long time.
It's going to take ages. You're going to drown.
How about just answer the questions?
All right.
But take your hoodie off.
Question number 1 is, what are the clubs?
You got to take your hoodie off.
It's raining.
Yeah? Oh, Monsieur Sneffish.
Yes.
Also, having you right here reminds people of Charity Day, and they'll laugh.
Hello, I'm back in the rain with no Charity Day whatsoever. Do I have to say what things are, or just say, is it self-understood that these are the clubs?
No, the whole purpose of the video is to explain to people who don't know what the clubs are, what the clubs are.
Alright, fine. Do you want to hit the clubs? Me too. The 1% club, the 2% club. Why should you join the 1% club? Well, it's simple. And good night. Just 1 second, what is the answer? Why do we join the 1%? Got it.
And you know all the good things that are happening here because you have a car stove for it.
Leave it to me. Leave it to me. Ready?
I've been going.
Okay. The reason to join the 1% club is not big lunch, sorry. Sorry about that. I ate one of the murzines before. They don't go down so well.
I need to stand. Okay.
I think we're done. You might think that the reason to join the 1% club is for Rafina to dub for you for all things good.
Okay. Okay, are you ready yet? This should take 3 minutes. Come on. 1 minute.
Right, what are we doing?
We are doing a quick video to explain to people about the 1% and 2% clubs.
Oh yeah, this one's before. Yes, got it.
Do you remember what they are?
One's called the 1% club, one's called the 2% club. They're percentages of something, and it's a club that you can be part of.
1% is 1% is for people who are giving 10% of their miser.
1% of people giving 10%.
Right.
A very cleverly named club there. Do you want to be part of the people giving 10%? We've called it the 1% club. It's easier to remember. It's a tenth easier to remember than the 10% club.
And 2%.
1 second. 1% is 10%. I'm not getting this.
Yes.
I am getting it. I know it now. I
Excellent.
remember it well. Are you giving 10%? You can be part of the 1% club. Welcome to the 10%, 1%, 1%, 10% club. You are part of the 1% club for people giving 10%. Have I done it right?
You got to do the 2% club.
I know this one.
Wait a minute.
Are you giving 10%?
Wait.
Part of the 2% club. 2%, 10%, 1%, 1%, 2%. 2% and 1% club is the club of the percentage of clubs. It's a percentage of clubs. 1% and 2% of 10% of people giving 10%. Thank you very much. Good night. Even though it's afternoon.
We're not. Yep. Rubina.
Rubina. Oh. Are you giving 1% and 2%? This is the 10% club. I'm the Rubina bit.
Rubina davening for those in the 1%, 10% club.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh, we love the people in the 1%, 2% club, which is really 10%.
Okay, let's go straight to the 2%.
Yes. Sure.
We've never saw.
This isn't taking any time at all, because this is the 1 minute that we promised each other it would take. What exactly are we doing here?
We've never saw.
We've never saw.
Davening for the 2% club.
We've never saw impersonation. We don't do that, do we?
What?
We don't do our own impersonations, even
You
in
talk
jokes,
about
camera things, do we?
or having a car stove to people who are members of the 2% club.
No, but not as we've never sell.
You did read the paper I gave you last time.
No. I mean, there was paper. It was raining.
You read it
was
on
raining.
camera.
In fairness, I can't read in the rain. I mean, it was raining. Yeah. Just tell me what I have to say. It's not easy. What am I saying?
Okay, so it's very simple.
Yes.
People who commit to 10% of their miser.
People who commit to 10% of... Oh, I get it. Miser's 10%. Give your miser to who you want. Give it to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Or other worthy causes, not just Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
But those who have a
the
car...
10%, if you give 10% of your 10%, that will equal 1% of your overall income. If you give that to the Tivaria Yeshiva, then there is a consequence to this, and the consequence is
you
a good one.
You feel really good.
You feel good. You feel like the kind of guy that's given 10% of 10%, which is 1%. And boy, do I feel 10% of 10% this morning, because I myself have given 1% to Netivarie, which means...
Where you went to.
I feel good. I went and I have a Karazatov and then...
All the good things that are happening there.
And what could a person ask for? But there's another consequence other than that.
Ravbina
will be doing something remarkable. If you give him 1% of your 10% of your 10%, which is 1%, if you give him that, he will personally
have a
will do the
Karazatov.
following dance. He personally will have Hakarazatov to you.
And therefore,
it's so fluent.
He will daven for you.
He will daven for you. He will daven for your soul, and boy, do you need it.
Weekly
you need it. Oh, I see. He will daven as a Hakarazatov to you for having given the 10% of the 10%, which is really 1%. He will give you his soul. He will daven for your soul. He'll pray you don't burn there, Jimmy. He'll pray for you. For your well-being. Thank you for giving 1%.
For anything. You can request what he should have him for.
Nice. If you want a Ferrari, give 10% of 10% in Tivarie, which is 1%. That's why it's called 10%, because the 1%, you know what I'm talking about. And in return for this, Rabina himself will daven for your Ferrari, or any other car that you daven, anything else that you daven for. It does not have to be a car. It can be anything.
Rav Neman Sol, 2%, Rav Neman Sol, extrapolate.
Same thing for Rav Neman Sol, but 2%.
Yes.
Got it. If you give 10% of 10%,
well, Rav Neman Sol
twice,
also. Ravbina also davens for the 2%.
Oh, it's so easy. That's what I like about this. It's like it's 1%, man, which is so difficult to comprehend. 2%. I'm getting it now. If you give 10% of 10% twice, is that right? Yes, that's 2%. If you give this figure, which is 2% of your overall income, but 20% of your 10%, is that right? 20% of 10%. It's a fifth of 10%, it's 2%. Correct. If you give 20% of 10%, which is a 2% club, otherwise it's a 20% of 10% club, if you give 2% of your overall income to the Tivarie, then not only... what I did there. Not only will there be a daven for your Ferrari or any other sports equipment, anything at all that you could possibly dream of, but also Rav Neman Sol himself will drive. Rav Neman Sol himself will be driven. You see, will be driven in Hakarazatov that Rabina has. Rav Neman Sol will be driven to daven for your well-being. Just that. Is Rav Neman Sol really going to say, and Stephen Johnson's Ferrari that he'd like as well? Or is he just going to say general, like, bracha v'hatzlacha? Or some of the Godelim don't say bracha v'hatzlacha, they say boha, because it's shorter. Buha. Which is the unusual confluence of Godelim and Scooby-Doo. Because the bad guys in Scooby-Doo also used to say buha, they say buha, which is pretty much, I think, what the Godelim do sometimes. When they're not, they're not always scaring little kids, sometimes they're learning.
You were afraid to do Rav Neman Sol.
Yes.
I just noticed.
I'm speaking generically now. I'm not saying X or Y Gadol goes. I'm just saying it is a confluence, an unusual confluence between Scooby-Doo, where are you, and the Gedolim. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that like the big rabbis walk around going zoinks, like Scoobs, like there's some hamburgers. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there is a connection between. You know.
The short answer is yes, he does.
The good thing is
he davens whatever it says on the paper.
Whatever it says in the paper. Rav Neman Sol, You give them the paper, whatever. So if you're clever, don't pay for any of the clubs and slip Prof. Nemersal the piece of paper as he's saying. So, and I'd like to say special thank you to Mark Mays, who deserves a Ferrari. Okay.
Do you have it now?
I've got it.
Okay,
Got it.
take a step back, let's do it.
Right. What could be easier than this? I could do this in a minute or less. Tell me when I'm on.
Or less.
Great. Tell me when I'm on.
You're on.
On now. As in.
1, 2, 3, and then.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, and then. Welcome to the 1, 2, 3, and then club. Wait. Start again. Start again. We've got it. I'm with you. I know it. Finally. That was a big one. I thought we were past all this.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna try again tomorrow. Mark? Rabbi Mays? Can you please in song explain to us about the 1 and 2% clubs?
Money to, you've got some money, 1% of it, minus the money you had, you give it to your Shiva, somehow that money waits to go into a reader's mind. If you've got your money in your mind, then you take that mind of readers and you'll govern for all sorts of things to you. Get 2%, get twice that mind power, by getting all of those things from Neversel's mind. But Neversel's got in your mind all sorts of things possible, I don't know exactly what. And that's basically the musical accompaniment of the 1% and 2% club. Here's some happy people that have done it before. These people are all part of the 1% club. All of them over here. And they're happy. They're happy. Look how happy they are. Show them how happy you are. 1%, 2%. Join our club today.
It's okay. Now,
That's how I have it.
Rev Mays, listen, it didn't work with an Aleph guy. It doesn't work with me prompting you. We got you a lensman, somebody from the island of England here, from London. Imagine he comes up to you and he asks you, can you please explain to me the clubs?
Hold on a second.
Perfect. Actually, that was very good. Okay, do it again.
Come up to me and ask me about the clubs.
With Maze. Maze?
Ah, here you go. Yes.
Hi. Can you tell me anything about the clubs?
Which ones?
I don't know, just any club that you can. Extracurricular clubs.
Just 1 second. What's that thing again about the percentage?
1 and 2% clubs. come again.
Alright, fine. Do it again. Come up to me
That's so confused.
when
I
I'm
have no
least
idea what this
expecting
is
it.
about.
That's fine.
That's the point here. It's
Is it
good.
meant to be funny or not?
No, it's very
Does this
sad
look funny
actually.
To you? Does this look in any way funny to anyone?
Okay, just
Stop. I'm going to do something, and then you come up to me and ask me about the clubs. Okay, ready, go.
So serious, yeah?
yes, very serious.
I'm amazed.
Yes. Hello.
Can you tell me anything about the clubs?
Of course I can. I assume you mean the 1% and 2% clubs.
I guess I do.
Well, you've guessed correct. You do mean that. Well, let me tell you about them. There's two clubs. One of them is called the 1% Club, and one of them is called the 2% Club. I should probably elaborate a bit more about that. Have you heard of Yeshivat Nativ Aryeh? Nativ Aryeh.
Yes, I have.
Right, so we're in it now, that's
Right.
clear. All people are graduated happily, and all customers are happy. And those people have a lot of Akarsatov, and they want to often ask me, I often meet people in the street who say to me, I went to Nativ Aryeh, how can I give back? And I'll say to them, and the Rebbeinu says to me, you should have told about the 1%, 2% club. And I'll say, and I always forget what that is. But apparently there's two clubs. One is called the 1% club, and you probably guessed by now there's another one called the 2% club. Basically, it works like this. If you give 10% of your 10%, which is 1%, got it so far? I also took me a while to understand this, but basically there's an idea of giving 10% of your money some worthy cause, and if you give 10% of that 10%, you'll have given 1% of the overall money that you've given 10% of ordinarily. You take 10% of that, it's 1%. Got it? Excellent. So if you give 1% of your income towards Yeshivat Nativ Aryeh's continued activities, then you are what's called the 1% club. And as a special treat, Yeshiva does not send henchmen around your house.
Mark,
As a special
Mark,
treat, as a special
again, as a result.
I got it. If you give 10% of your 10%, which is 1%, you are joining something called the 1% Club, whether you want to or not. You get put in this wonderful club, and there are various perks to being in this club. For example, your name makes it to Rabbinu's desk for a good reason this time, and he will daven for you. He'll mention your name, you by name, if you have any specific requests, like, I don't know, certain brands or sports car, whatever it is you're davening for. He will daven for you, for those things to come true. All by giving 1%, and that's how you get to the 1% club. I think is that right? That's about right. And then the 2% club, which is like crazily different to that, it's basically if you give 2%, no, if you give 20% of your 10%, we have to do this again now because your phone's gone off.
Oh, 1 second.
Throwing money away.
Hello.
Rock bottom prices.
It's finished. I'm coming. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Bye.
Yes. You're back on?
Take my money.
I'll use this as a prop.
Okay, good guys.
Yeah?
It's going to cost me. Yes.
So the 2% club is very much like the 1% club. Imagine if you gave 20% of your 10%. I think I've got that right. That would be 2% of your overall 100%. 20% of 10% would be 2% of your. Yeah, you got it. So then you could join what's called the 2% club for obvious reasons, and that's why it's called the 2% club. But the perks that it has, in addition to, not to the exclusion of what you would have had in the 1% club, but in addition, you also get free entry to the lounge in Ben Gurion Airport.
Mark.
That's another club, sorry. In addition
Mark.
to the 1% club, you get the same perks as the 1% club, but you also get what the perks of the 2% club, which are very well known to people. If you don't know what they are, let me tell you what they are. They're exactly like the 1% club, but you also, your name makes it to Rav Nemesal's main desk. And Rav Nemesal will have you in mind when he covers as well, which one imagines is significant, and probably has more influence on the car manufacturers as well, if you are something, whatever you are.
Neventhal doesn't have a desk.
What?
He doesn't have a desk.
Rav Nemesal doesn't have a desk. It makes its way to Rav Nemesal's pocket. Makes it into his pocket, and in that pocket will be your name, among other names, that he keeps there for important reasons, and he will daven for you. For example, Rav Bader just now handed me 200 shekels, just to show how much we value Nativ Aryeh. So, would you be able to say something nice about the 1% club? If we just tell something about
The 1% club is something that everyone should be a part of.
How long have you been part of the 1% club for?
I just joined it.
How long have you been part of it?
Years already, decades.
And is there a reason why you're holding my hand?
No reason whatsoever.
Excellent. I think, is there anything else to do? This is the best we've ever done. That we didn't get.
Can we talk about a Karsatov?
Akarsatov, yes. You know, your problem is, thank you very much. Excellent. That's enough Akarsatov for now. But there are other ways to have Akarsatov. Then, why do you think you struggle with Akarsatov? Let me answer that for you. Sometimes people don't appreciate what they've been given in life. For example, some people don't appreciate being alive. I once referenced to the boys, do you know how many nappies, that's diapers for Americans, do you know how many nappies your parents, the average parent has to change with an average baby? Probably about 5, let's call it 5 a day, a bit like fruit. And depends what the child age, I suppose, but yeah, 5 a day. And how many days in a year, about on a secular year, 365, something like that, give or take a few Februaries. And you know, how many years a baby wear nappies for? At least 2 years? Something like 700 and something, 30 times 5, which is a lot. I think that's the official number. That's 3,500, maybe more. Over 3,500, and you'd have died of basically turning septic if you wouldn't have had that changed. How much Karazatov did we ever phone our parents up and say, thank you for changing my nappy? I don't have to phone up 3,500 times, but one phone call. How many times we throw a kiddush for, you know, all the things we have in life. Same thing with yeshiva. All the things that we gave out in yeshiva, even things we didn't like in yeshiva, sometimes we appreciate afterwards. We don't realise where they came from. Sometimes they came from Rabino, or they came from the Rebbeim, different things that we had. And I think that sometimes we forget that. I think that's an idea of Hakar Satov. L'Hakir HaTov. Didn't see the good. Look at the camera, say yes.
Nappies.
Excellent. Bottom line, guys, pardon the pun. Bottom line, nappies. Hakar Satov. 1% of Hakar Satov.
Mark, I have your wife on the phone. She wants to know if you're going to start changing diapers now.
That'd be weird because we don't actually have a baby at the moment. So if I turn that into my new profession, the good news is, darling, I've got a job. Bad news, it's changing nappies. We don't have a baby. That's the bad news part. I'm going to be going from house to house changing people's nappies. I will accept money for such a service.
Actually, you'll take the 200 shekels of down payment.
Okay, I've got it. Okay, the 1% club, the 1% club. Join the 1% club. This place is a torture chamber, they're right. Not a torture chamber. It's not a torture chamber. We like it here. It's not a torture chamber. It's not a torture chamber. It's not a torture chamber. I think I've actually drilled into the wall now. The Tivarier, where everything gets drilled into you. Karazatov, 1% club,
2%.
the 2% club. We love the Tivarier. We really do. Whew. Very holy. Just help me down here. Thank you. 1% club. More than hundreds of thousands more. We pay that a month, isn't that great? So that's how it works in Israel. So someone told me, a friend of mine, that the good way to refinance your mortgage is to swindle people out of their actual cash. I gave it.